The Red Foxes of Marist begin their chase of the MAAC trophy after a successful beginning of the season in non-conference play. But those 6 games are thrown out the window at 7 p.m. tonight. Mount St. Mary's, a familiar foe to these Foxes, enter icy Poughkeepsie as the reigning MAAC champions look to prevent Marist hopes of getting back to the boardwalk. We welcome you onto the court of McCann Arena before Marist faces off against Mount St. Mary's in their conference opener here in Poughkeepsie. So great to have you alongside Mike Duda, Nate Babcock, Nick Chiarito, William Rosen on hand in what will be an exciting non-conference opener.
It should definitely be exciting. Quite cold out. It's actually white out there from the snow, and it's going to be a red out inside this arena. A storied rivalry, soon to be a big one, Nate.
Yeah, it's my favorite time of the year. MAAC season is upon us. And does it get scripted any better than this? Marist hosting the Mount, who knocked them off in the MAAC quarterfinals as a 6 seed?
They did something right. They were thinking about that.
And I know this men's team is looking for a championship this year, and they better be inspired. Marist softball getting their rings tonight, looking to see if they can inspire a generational run.
Certainly a championship atmosphere in the building tonight, but it was Marist who really opened up their non-conference slate. They look pretty good.
Yeah, they might have been thinking about that championship softball run a little early, Nick. Starting off in Cincinnati, Richard Pitino in his Big East head coaching debut. Fox is taking on the Musketeers, and it's the transfer grad student, Rajon Blackwell. He led the way, 24 points in his Red Fox debut. The 25-year-old had quite the night, but Marist with a 20-point comeback, just falling short in the closing seconds. They lost by 4, now 1-16 against the Power Conference, but a couple of days later at Dartmouth, they didn't care. They went right back to business. Elijah Lewis putting the Foxes up 10. He finished with 6, but Blackwell once again leading the way. 16 points, 7 boards in a dominant 75-56 victory. Next game, you're back at McCann for a 4-game stretch, facing Division III Vassar. 5 Foxes finishing with 10-plus points, and Justin Menard, the Iona transfer, led the way. 16 points and 5 dimes in a 93-61 win. Later on, Foxes take on Harvard a couple days later, and Rajon Blackwell hits his lone 3 of the game despite going 3 of 14 from the field. But a couple of seconds later, it's Chandler Paget hitting an emphatic 3-pointer and drawing the foul. He goes to the line for 2, but now Jaden Daughtry with a chance for Marist. They're down by 2, but he can't get the shot off. Foxes lose to Harvard. But a couple of days later, staying in McCann, now 2-2 in the non-conference slate. They face Army Veterans Appreciation Day. Everyone's having a good time, and so is the freshman Miles Parker. He dropped 17, including a coast-to-coast jam. Later getting the pass from the Iona transfer in Menard and sinking a beautiful, a circus and 1. Take a look at that. What a layup. The true freshman goes for 17. 3rd straight victory for the Foxes against Army, and then they wrapped up their non-conference slate looking to stay above 500. They don't want to fall to 3-3, and that's exactly what Justin Menard said. He found Jaden Daughtry on that beautiful dunk on the other end. Menard staying with his defender, though, gets a block and a team-high 17 points as the Foxes finish out conference play 4-2 with an impressive 78-55 victory over Lehigh.
And you know what, Mike? They've been able to be as successful as they are because of their nationally ranked defense.
It's so good.
Top 10 in multiple categories, 6th in opponents' points per game, 5th in opponent field goal percentage, and 1st in opponent 3-point percentage.
It's really been a well-rounded effort for the last few times, and the last few years really for John Dunn's squad. Defense is always at the forefront of his coaching mentality.
Defense is, but something different this year with Josh Pasquarelli gone, assists.
100%.
Just playing on the ball. Jaden Collins-Roberts, the new captain, we'll get to that in a second. I was able to talk to him after one of the games, after that Vassar game, and he told me, we don't have the guy, but instead we have a bunch of players that can be the guy on any given night. Look at that Blackwell game.
It's made them a lot more dangerous.
Yeah.
What was worse about Pasquarelli, it wasn't the fact that they ran the offense through him, because he's dominating the Mountain West right now. It's the fact that he was their only shooter. Right now they got 4 players shooting above 36%. Just having the threat allows them to be the best team at scoring the ball inside the arc.
And it's Miles Parker, one of those sharpshooters.
Oh, yeah.
He comes in freshman year. He had a 17-point game performance just a few weeks ago. He has really looked like one of these rookies that could stay here in Poughkeepsie, develop. If he drives to the basket a little more, he is one of the lengthiest players. Him and Daughtry, I would love to see a 1-2 game between him and Daughtry.
Yeah, and due to that versatility, I don't think there's a team that Marist couldn't have beat so far on their schedule. So their first 2 games, it's come by a combined 6 points, 4 points lost to Xavier, and a 2-point loss to Harvard.
Hey, and all their wins have been by double digits too, which is very impressive.
Their net rating is crazy. It's around
Plus
20.
19.
It's around
Plus
20.
19
19
in the
and a
MAAC.
half.
Yeah.
Yeah, and 2 big parts of that success has been Rajon Blackwell and Justin Menard. They are leading in a number of categories. Rajon Blackwell is leading in points per game with 14.2. Justin leading in assists with a total of 24 and 4 per game. He's also leading in steals with 11. And Rajon also tied with Jaden Daughtry as the rebound per game leader.
Who would have thought?
Who would have thought?
Who would have thought?
He has the hops.
He's got honey. He's got
I
bunnies,
know,
man.
it's
He's
crazy.
got bunnies.
There's something in his souls.
Yeah, it has been so much fun to watch him play. They've taken so much pressure off both Jaden Collins-Roberts and Elijah Lewis. They were the floor generals for this Red Fox team last year, and I actually had an opportunity to speak to them about the open-up versatility of this lineup and what they expect coming into MAAC play. Here we have newcomers Rajon Blackwell and Justin Menard. Both of you guys transfers. Justin, you're leading in both steals and assists, second in 3-pointers, and Rajon, you're leading in points and tied for Jaden Daughtry and rebounds. What has allowed you guys to come in and acclimate so seamlessly to this team?
For me, honestly, I feel like it's just the focus on win. Coach Dunn, I've drilled it in our heads, and just to focus on winning. So whatever that takes to win, I feel like that's what I focus on here.
Yeah, I agree. Just following game plan. I mean, Coach gives us a great game plan, great scout every single week, and we all just play together, and we just want to win. So keeping the main thing, and yeah.
Yep, and obviously there's the individual side, but there's a team side that you just mentioned. Coming in, obviously there's a little bit of bad blood after end of last season with the Mount. You guys are coming in, but how do you guys take that to heart and know not the value of this game, but the magnitude maybe of it?
I mean, knowing it's a big game, but also just treating it like another game. We got to stay focused on preparation, scout, game plan, and if we stay focused on that and we don't get too emotional and worry about things like that, we're gonna be fine.
Yeah, no, facts, I agree.
You guys come in and offer a different level of versatility to this lineup. You're able to now have extended runs where Collins-Roberts and Elijah Lewis can get extended burn where they didn't see that last year. Can you speak a little bit about the versatility that you guys add to this lineup?
Yeah, I think we're pretty deep guard-wise, I play 1 through 3. Justin plays 1 through 3. So Eli can play 2, 3. JCR can play everywhere. So it's just like, whenever we need blows, we're always so versatile in different positions. I think that can really help us because we can play any different combination of guys, multiple guards on the court at the same time. So yeah.
Yeah, I think we got the best group of guards in the MAAC, to be honest. So yeah.
All right, and Rajon, you've written a book. It's called The Art of the Most Dangerous Point Guard. What do you believe makes the most dangerous point guard?
Just someone that can do multiple things, not just being one-dimensional, being an extension of the coach as well, being a vocal leader. But yeah, man, ultimately a winner. Good to be a scorer, but you want to win. I think that's the key ingredient right there, and helping others win as well, not just for yourself, but helping others win.
Your season high coming against Xavier, 24 points. Your season high coming in the most recent game against Lehigh. What do you see in those matchups? You were comfortable from the jump, so what were you seeing in a matchup like Lehigh that allowed you to just continue to hit throughout? You were 8 for 11 in that game.
Honestly, just letting the game come to me. They've been preaching to me all year, just slowing down, playing with pace, playing off 2. So just taking that into the game and work on it in practice. Game to game, every game is different. He might be hot, I might be hot, Eli might be hot. We just kind of are playing basketball. Whoever gets going, gets going. So.
And that's one of the beautiful things of this team. But we're heading into MAAC play. What is your guys' approach as you start to lock in on the more meaningful games of this season?
Just taking it day by day. It's just not getting too far ahead. Staying in the present moment. Winning the days, winning the moments, winning the practices, winning the walkthroughs, and you stack those wins up, you'll win the game. So just taking it day by day.
Staying disciplined is Rajon Blackwell and Justin Menard. Thank you guys for being here, and good luck this MAAC season.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Those two newcomers really proving their Poughkeepsie presence to be incredibly high in their first few games here in Potown.
Quite intelligent young men, I might add. You heard Rajon, he wrote a
100%.
book. I mean, that guy is really, really smart. But what I like, the focus on winning and how much they're adapting to this new coaching staff.
Cannot agree
You heard
more.
Menard talking about it. He loves Dunn. That's awesome.
I mean, Dunna's done a great job of getting everybody to buy in. There is no egos involved. We've talked about why isn't Blackwell starting? It seems like he's their best player. He doesn't really care because he does lead the team in minutes, but there's no ego involved, and that's made them really successful.
Yeah, and you mentioned his intelligence, and it shows in his game. He's not only just the points per game leader.
On-court IQ.
He can score with the best of them. 24 against Xavier, who are out of conference schedule, number 1 in the Big East.
Yeah.
But like, if you score 24,
and look at the rebounding. He said it in his book. That's a big point. He doesn't want to just score. He's leading the team with Daughtry tied for the most rebounds.
He wrote about the art of the point guard. He has some De'Aaron Fox and Russell Westbrook in that game.
a little
and
bit
I
of
think
Isaiah Thomas.
he certainly knows how to play the point guard position, and he knows how to make his team work for him.
And they also talked about versatility. He doesn't just play point guard. He plays shooting guard. He plays small forward. His athleticism allows him to play multiple positions as well as his IQ.
And that speaks to the multiple guards and how good this team, how deep this team is in terms of the MAAC. I'm going to have to agree with Justin. I think they have the best guard room in the MAAC. Blackwell, Menard, JCR, Elijah Lewis. We haven't even talked about him tonight.
There are so many star players on this Marist team, and there are a lot of good players right now in our MAAC conference. We take a look at the preseason poll. What do the MAAC pollsters have before tonight's tip-off? Quinnipiac at number 1, Monroe, Amari Monroe, staying in Connecticut. NIL, a true factor, but Monroe said he wanted to play for fans that he truly loves. Siena at number 2. They have some star players with Gavin Doty, and they have a lot of backing as well. Sacred Heart slated at number 3. Manhattan at 4, and that was before Will Sindor, who's ineligible to begin the season. They're still at 4. Marist, the Red Foxes, at number 5. Number 6, Iona,
They're
new
going
coach.
to shock some people this
They
year.
have looked really good in
They're
the
gonna shock some
NIL.
people.
NIL.
And quite the coach.
Quite the coach, non-conference slate, everything going well in New Rochelle. Number 7, Merrimack. Number 8, Fairfield. They can get scary every single year. Mount St. Mary's.
That feels really low, but upsets happen way too often in this
Look at last
conference.
year.
Know a thing or two
Yeah.
with number 9, Mount St. Mary's. Tonight, they'll try and prove that they could go back-to-back. Number 10, Ryder in Jersey. St. Peter's also in Jersey City at 11. And it's 2, upstate Western New York. 12-13 with Niagara and Canisius. We know our stuff, or at least we try to, but I think someone who knows his stuff a little bit better in the world of college basketball is ESPN's college basketball analyst, Coach Seth Greenberg. Seth?
Let's take a look at the MAAC's top 6 contenders, and we're going to start with Iona. Dan Dro, the new head coach, former NBA assistant. He's bringing an NBA style of basketball. They're averaging 87 points a game. CJ Anthony is a matchup problem, and the one thing Iona has is they've got NIL money. The institution has invested in their basketball program. Manhattan, Coach Gallagher. He returns maybe one of the best players in the league, last year's Rookie of the Year, Will Sindor. He is ineligible right now, but if he gains eligibility, they'll return 4 of their top 7 scorers. Manhattan could be a problem if they get complete. Quinnipiac, Tom Pecora, 2-time MAAC champions. The best player in the league, Amari Monroe, 6'7", match-up problem. And he's complemented by Jaden Zimmerman, a 6'5" wing player who can really score it. We go to Siena and Jerry Mack. Jerry Mack's done a terrific job at Siena. Another guy that is returning players. Retention is the most important thing when you're talking about MAAC basketball, whether it's Doty or Coyle or Schatz. Those 3 guys understand what it takes to compete at the highest level in the MAAC. The team maybe with the most talent in the MAAC is Sacred Heart. Anthony Latina, his team, they return 3 different front court players that combined for 40 points last year, led by Gittins, who can really score the basketball. But let's face it, why am I talking to you guys? I'll tell you why I'm talking to you guys, because it's all about the Marist Red Foxes. And when you think about the Marist Red Foxes, you think back-to-back years finishing in the top 3. Blackwell, Lewis, and Roberts, an elite point guard. Those 3 guys will lead the way. And this could just be the year the Red Foxes go to the big dance.
Yeah, thanks, Coach. You know quite a decent amount about Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference basketball as we take a look at some of the best runs that have ever been done in our conference. The most recent and most notable, of course, in 2022, the St. Peter's Peacocks, an improbable run. They were defeated by number 8 North Carolina all the way in the Elite 8. They took down some true great programs, Kentucky and Purdue. And Murray State, of course, in 2009 and 2008, it was the Siena Saints that were both defeated by number 1 and number 12, Louisville and Villanova in that second round. And we throw it all the way back. Shout out to Chris Smooth Williams. It's his squad, Manhattan Jaspers. They were defeated in the second round, but these teams really made some noise in the tournament. And someone who certainly knows a lot about the postseason is ESPN's bracketologist, Joe Lunardi. Joe?
ESPN bracketologist Joe Lunardi here with a look at one of my favorite mid-major conferences, the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference. This is a league that's been dominated by a handful of schools, but I think the pool is widening heading into 25-26. I look for the champion to come from one of these 4 traditional contenders, Siena and Iona, along with relative newcomers, Quinnipiac, and yes, your Marist Red Foxes. All have impressed to varying degrees in the non-conference. Even though Siena would have to be the favorite behind Jerry McNamara, this is a league in which upsets often occur in the conference tournament, and the regular season race does not always decide the NCAA representative. So let's get to March and see what happens, and in the meantime, enjoy the ride. I'm taking Siena, but Marist is my dark horse.
Well, thanks, Joe. We're now joined by a Marist legend, the men's basketball program leader in career free throw percentage, also the color commentator for football, men's and women's basketball, Steve Eggink. Steve, thank you so much for joining us.
I'm really happy to be here. Looking forward to it.
So last season, this matchup between the Mount and Marist proved how the MAAC is. Upsets happen all the time. But for Marist, they played their worst ball entering the tournament. What do they need to do differently to play their best ball as the season closes?
Well, the constant for Marist ever since John Dunn has been here is defense. And, you know, you have to be playing really good defense. And that's the one thing that Coach Dunn's teams have done since he's been here. You know, they play lockdown defense. Hey, if you look at this season, they are first in the country defending the 3-ball. I mean, that's really impressive. One of the best defensive teams through 6 games in the nation. If they shoot the ball like they're capable of, and they're shooting the basketball very well right now.
They really are.
Yeah.
I think that they will be right there because their defense will always be good. They're always connected on the defensive end of the floor.
Yeah, and we mentioned you were a former player here, leader all-time in free throw percentage. Marist has the lowest free throw rate in the MAAC, getting to the line less than any other MAAC opponents. What do they have to do to find themselves at the charity stripe?
Well, they have to take the ball off the deck more. They have to go off the deck and go around people. That hasn't been a big part of their offense, you know, to date. They have guys that can do it, though. Case in point is JCR the last game. He was really a lot more aggressive with the basketball. He's more than capable of creating his own shot and getting to the rim. I think Blackwell can do that too. And hey, Menard is deceptively quick. And we've seen that too. He's really had some complete games this season. So I think moving forward, you'll see them take the ball to the basket a lot more.
Well, we've talked offense, we've talked defense. We'll talk about something that's not necessarily on the court. NIL, introduced with Iona. That was not even a thought when you were playing. So what do you see as a broadcaster now, especially in the mid-major conferences, about NIL?
Well, I think it's been difficult, frankly, for mid-major programs because a lot of times mid-majors, they just can't afford to keep kids, right, and the bigger schools come in and poach them. I think it's unfortunately, it's the way it is, and I think from a coaching perspective, if you don't adapt, you're going to get left behind. I mean, I really think that's the case. And hey, it's a year-to-year proposition now. It just is. If you look at the MAAC, for instance, how many new players on each and every team, I mean, that has really been a constant in the last 2 or 3 years. So you want to try to retain your kids, obviously, but hey, you have to just enjoy really good players from year to year because you just don't know what's going to happen when the season comes to an end.
100%. I think one of those guys they retained is JCR.
Yeah, Jaden Collins-Roberts. in his third year. It feels like he's been here for so long. He gets his little C on his jersey. He's now a captain under John Dunn. What do you think that means for him and for Coach Dunn?
Well, he deserves to be the captain. There's no question about it. He's so critically important. I think, personally, he's the one person that has to stay healthy all season long. And why do I say that? Well, the offense runs a lot through him because he's so good in the open floor and he's so good with his court vision. He sees people. He knows when to get the basketball to his teammates when they're open. As a former player and scorer, you want your point guard. I had a great one in Bruce Johnson. He used to get me the basketball when I was ready.
Score it.
Yeah, when I was ready to shoot. And that's big for your point guard. You have to have a point guard that's, has that mentality of a pass first, but he needs to score a little bit more too. But he's such a great leader, and he's great on and off the floor. Your point guard is an extension of the coaching staff. I mean, that's really the best way to describe, I think, JCR. He's really an extension of the coaching staff, and he is a true leader. His teammates look up to him, and he really stirs the drink for this team. He's best, though, on the open floor. He's so great. He's very, very difficult to keep in front of you defensively, and he earned the captainship for sure. It's the first captain that John Dunn has named since he's been here.
Well, Steve, thank you so much. A little bit of insight from someone who actually played on this hardwood, maybe not this exact floor, as it's just renovated. But Steve, thanks so much. I actually talked about humility. I talked about the matchup tonight and what that captain, little C, meant for Jaden Collins-Roberts.
Here with Jaden Collins-Roberts. Jaden, thanks so much for taking the time. Last season, you faced Mount St. Mary's a few times at the end of the season in the regular season, and then you faced them down in Atlantic City. Were you going to try and persevere this time against the Mount to start conference play?
I think just being more focused on things we scouted and not letting them get easy buckets and just not fouling them is going to be the important things. Just those, like, a couple possessions of that, like, alone will make the game easier. Just a couple possessions of that will just make it easier. And, of course, with every game, just turnovers.
A key difference between last year's matchups and then coming into this year, you're named John Dunn's first ever captain here at Marist. What does that C on your chest mean to you?
It's definitely an honor, being, like, first ever. It means, he sees something in me that, he respects, and yeah, it means a lot. It doesn't mean that I'm going to be here going around, like, I'm still going to stay humble about it, I'm not going to go out of my way to do stuff different and stuff like that. I'm just going to go every day trying to be, the best leader I can be for my teammates. Yeah, but definitely means a lot to me for sure, yeah. It always makes you feel good, and especially this year when there are some new people that may have not known you. You have new additions coming into Marist, transfers, freshmen. What have some of those new additions meant to you as a leader? It means a lot. Before, anybody even sees anything, like guys like Rajan and Justin, just before they see them on the court and stuff, like back in the summer, guys pushing me, vice versa, I'm pushing them, you know what I mean? So that's always good to have, like, your best guys, like, just pushing each other, going back and forth, just getting better. And then, it rolls over into practice. And, yeah, and I love playing with them, like, guys I can get the ball to score, make me look good with my assists and stuff like that. But, yeah, and they're good teammates. Like, they always encourage me to do whatever better or whatever, like, stuff like that. So, yeah, and they're easy to play with, honestly. There's a conference schedule that starts right now. A lot of the students are going to be leaving on winter break, but that's when the Poughkeepsie faithful comes in. What's your message to the Marist fan base as this conference slate starts during the winter? Just come show some support. We're going to be moving fast, a lot of fast breaks, which I know they love. They've always, everyone loves a fast-paced game. So, yeah, come show out, and, we'll show you a good game, yeah. It's a much faster pace. Jaden, good luck against the Mount. Looking slick.
Yeah, always a great interview with the captain, Jaden Collins-Roberts. We're talking about all these M's, Marist, McCann, the MAAC. There's another M that we're forgetting about. Guys, there's an opponent on the hardwood tonight, and that is Mount St. Mary's. Nick, bit of a rivalry brewing up, starting up here in Poughkeepsie this season.
Hey, let's rewind back to the MAAC tournament. These two teams did face off in the final game of the regular season last year, which the Mount won. And in this matchup, the Mount was up 12 early in the second half. Marist cut the deficit to 2. But ultimately would fall short. Xavier Lipscomb closed the game out. Dola Adebayo, who is not with the Mount anymore, but finished with a double-double, 19 points, 11 rebounds, along with 12 free throws. And Donnie Lynn, in his first season as the head coach for the Mount, won the MAAC, won an NCAA tournament game, and 6 of their 9 players that played in this game against Marist in the quarterfinals is no longer with the program.
It's really a new-look team for this Mount St. Mary's squad.
The ins and outs, it's a CVS receipt, man. There's
a long list of changes?
Oh, 9 players out, 9 players in.
Talk a little bit, Mike, about what you see from this new-look squad.
I'm looking at one guy.
Okay.
Justin Amandi. I've been going on for days about this guy.
Yes.
I had. Because when you look at his James Madison University stats, playing in the Sun Belt, and he was just a sniper from the field, 69.5, 70% in 2020 as a true freshman. That is the highest field goal percentage in the history of JMU basketball. The next season, he gets the 5th highest field goal percentage in a single season. The year after that, 8th. Then he gets hurt, he transfers to Tulsa, and then the year after, he's here, right now in Poughkeepsie as a Mountaineer.
The Mountaineers really, they were ranked number 9 in that preseason poll, but they had a lot of things to prove. Donnie Lynn at the forefront as a head coach. He was kind of the face of the MAAC last year. You think he's going to try and keep that persona up or kind of dig into his team a little more?
Yeah, he's going to dig into his team a little bit more because this is his first true recruiting class. And he's his second year as a head coach. He had to work with what he had before last season, but now you're bringing back Xavier Lipscomb, and he's going to be the ball. He's going to control this offense for the Mount.
He does lead the team in assists.
He does.
A lot of assists.
Yes.
That guy can dish.
Yeah, if you're Marist, you cannot let him get going. He's going to get them comfortable early.
There's a lot of different factors for Marist. They got to that 2023 championship game, but they were number 11 back when the MAAC had 11 slots. Patrick Gardner led them all the way, lost in that championship game.
They got hot at the right time.
They got hot at the right time. The season after that, they were very consistent in the regular season, but couldn't get hot in the postseason. And then last season, they really lost their stride.
What we saw from the MAAC from the last 2, even 3 seasons, if you want to include Marist, run to the finals. 6 seed St. Peter's, they won the MAAC in 2024. 6 seed Mount, they won the MAAC in 2025.
Yeah, any of these top 6 teams are capable of taking the MAAC. We really don't know how it's going to shape up. Manhattan has an eligibility issue, but it's been the Mount through the first couple games of this season. They've been keeping up with their competition, and they have
talk about nationally ranked competition.
Nationally ranked competition.
Look at some of these squads. These are very impressive.
West Virginia, Cincinnati, Maryland, Western Michigan, Ohio State. Big loss there, but lots of good takeaways so far through the out-of-conference play.
And that Maryland game, what an overtime thriller that
That's
was.
exactly what I was about to say. It doesn't say it on there. Overtime game against Maryland. They are quite good.
And Orlandis Keys, he was phenomenal that game.
He had his coming out game.
22 points and 7 3-pointers against Maryland. And then he follows that up against Western Michigan, 15 points, 5 3-pointers.
Am I going to see a 3-point barrage tonight? What has to work for both of these squads?
For the Mount St. Mary's Mountaineers, you got to clean up the silly mistakes. These guys, they commit a ton of turnovers. They've committed the most in the MAAC. They have the worst free throw percentage. They don't get a lot of steals as well. Play smart basketball, and you'll win. Now, how do you counteract that if you're Marist? Turn to your defense.
100%.
We heard the stats. They're first in just about everything. Top 5 defensive rating single players are all from Marist. That's crazy in the MAAC.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. It's going to come from the perimeter defense for Marist. You have to run these guys off the 3-point line. You cannot let Keys get hot. If you do, you're going to be regretting it all night. But for the Mount, you have to attack the Marist defense. If that is going to be their strong suit, you're going to have to make them pay one way or another.
For me personally, I'm looking at 3-point shooting. I harped this in our first show. I'm going to harp it again. 3-point shooting has been a big reason as to this offense opening up inside the arc. And for the Mount, if they can keep this game close, Marist hasn't showed the clutch steam that they had last season. Both of their losses have come within the last few possessions of the game.
the Mount St. Mary's Mountaineers, they just play through Xavier Lipscomb and watch for him. He's going to penetrate and create unorthodox shot look. It looks kind of like he's doing something wrong, but that's his look. And for Marist, Tariq Watson has been inactive for the last few games. He is going to be probable tonight. It looks like he's going to give it a shot. Tariq, an interior presence for a team that usually goes through their wing. Tariq's really a classic big man. So much to look for tonight as Marist opens up their non-conference slate. After it is their conference season opener here tonight. On McCann Arena here, Marist faces off against Mount St. Mary's. I'll be on the sideline with Dean and Steve on ESPN+. Mike and Nate have the call on WMAR. For everyone involved in our ESPN Plus staff, thanks so much. Tip-off at 7.